Hello and welcome to wartime. It is 1445. All right, so from 1415 to 1453, we are having part 3 of the 100 Years' War. That is the Lancastrian War, was the third and final phase of the Anglo-French 100 Years' War. It lasted from 1415, when King Henry V of England invaded Normandy, to 1453, when the English lost Bordeaux. So we are at 1445, 1450. So this is the last time that we have to roll for anybody to go to fight in this war. In 1450, we will be rolling to bring the enlisted Sims home. Now, I have a list here of all the males, teen to adults. That's who we're rolling for. And I have decided that even if they don't live in England, I'm going to go ahead and roll for them. And it'll just mean that if they're in a different country, that there was some kind of skirmish in their country where they live, because it doesn't really seem fair that the people in England had all of these war rolls, and if you got out of England, you didn't have any problems, and that's definitely not how it was. So we're just going to roll for every single male, teen to adult that we have in our world. And I'm going to be saving our main household, which is Sebastian and Godfrey. Harris is now too old. He's considered an elder. So I know he just got back from war 5 years ago. So Harris will not go, but Sebastian and now Godfrey is old enough that we're going to roll for him as well. So here is how we're going to do it. First of all, we are rolling for 81 people. So I want you right now to make your guess out of the 81. No, that's not even true. It's 81, not counting Sebastian and Godfrey. So 83 out of the 83 people, I want you to make your guess of which one I'm going to roll. And I have to roll a D4. And if it rolls a 4, they go to war. So it's a 25% chance. So out of 83, how many do you think is going to go? My guess is going to be 22. I just pulled that out of thin air right now. So that's my guess, that 22 of them will go to war. We're also going to do this by neighborhoods, and we're going to start down here in Moonwood Mill. I'm going to click on their house and pull them up and show you who it is. This is Alan Smith. And as you can see, his children will have to go somewhere if he fails this roll. All right, here we go. 1, 2, or 3. Yay! So far, so good. The next house is Maverick Miller. Maverick goes to war. The next house is Quentin Miller, and we have Quentin and Paul that we're going to be rolling for. So first is Quentin, not going to war, and then Paul, also not going to war. The last family over here is Giovanni McOtter, who is not dressed in his werewolf form, and he is also not going to war. So in Moonwood Mill, we only have one person going to war. Then we move to Henford-on-Bagley. We're going to roll for everybody but our main family that lives here. Starting up here with Darius Neal. He's the only one in his household that we're rolling for. His boys are not old enough, and he is not going. I'm not sure what this says about what's about to happen, but anyway, Isaiah Bell is next. He's the only one in his house we're rolling for. He's not going to war. Anthony Gambino is next in this house. And let's see what's going on with him. Not going to war. Wow. Okay. Philip Wardmark and Saul Wardmark both live in this house. So first we're rolling for Philip, not going to war, and then we're rolling for Saul, not going to war. Okay, Quigley Neal's house only has Quigley. Out of all these people living in his house, he's the only one that is the right age, and he is going to war. I mean, he might be happy to get out of that house. There is a lot of people in that house. Then we have our brother, Xavier, and his boys are not old enough yet, so we're only rolling for Xavier Miller over here, and he is going to war. Then moving down, we have Arthur Price. He's the only one in this house that we're rolling for. and he is not going to war. Next to him is his cousin Harold Price, the only one in his house that we're rolling for, and he is not going to war. And that is everybody outside of our main family. So we are going over to Japan now, and we will be rolling for Akiyoshi and Takahiro. So here's Takahiro, and here is Akiyoshi, and we're going to be rolling first for Takahiro, going to war. Then we will be rolling for Akiyoshi, also going to war. Wow. Okay, that's what's happening in Japan. Then we move to what we're calling Ireland, and we are starting with Larkin Miller's house, and he is the only one in this house who is old enough to go to war, and he does not. Then over here at the Willett house, we have Dolphus, the only one old enough to go, and he is not going to war. Next is Morkant Miller's house, and we have Morkant and his son, Morkant. I don't know why I can't say their names. So father and son are the only two. So we're going to start with father not going to war and his son not going to war. All right, then we move to the Lost house, and Aiken is the only one old enough to roll, and he is not going to war. Finally, our last house has two people. Oh my gosh, ignore what he's wearing. But we have Cable Miller and his son, Cable Miller, living in this house. So we're going to first roll for Dad, Cable, not going, and then his son also not going. So if anybody wants to change your vote, we have rolled so far for 23 people, and 5 of them are going to war. So if you had less than 5 chosen, you can change your vote if you would like to change your vote. And we are now heading over to France and Scotland. We're going to start in Scotland with the McOtters, and we have Solomon McOtter, who I guess is technically too old, and we have his son, Solomon. I think this Solomon is not old yet because he's not an elder. He's still 40, which means he can go. And he does. And then we roll for his son, who does not go. That's good, because I think he's trying to get married. Now to France. I know we've been very concerned about our red family, so I'm going to give y'all a second to say yes or no about David. He's the only person in France, the only member of our family eligible to go to war, and he is the member of our red family that should be getting married, and instead he might have to go off to war. So I hope you've been able to get your votes in about David. Here we go. He's going to war. No. I'm kind of real sad about that. Okay, done at France and Scotland. Now we go to Romania, where we only have Andre Miller's family, and Andre is the only one who is old enough, and he's not going. And then his brother, Joseph, lives over here, and he is going to war. Wow, now we're almost at 50% recently, with one person going, one person not going. But we're moving to Windenburg, where we have the most members of our family living. And we're going to start all the way up here with Matteo Lothario, and he is the only person in his house who's old enough. So let's see. Oh, he's going to war. Oh my gosh. I'm a little concerned now that the dice is turning away from our favor. Royce Summer is the only one at his house who is old enough to go, and he's going. What is happening? We're now at 3 in a row. No. We have, oh wait, did I skip somebody? Oh yes, I did. Edmund Anderson's house. We have 3 people who are old enough to go. We have Dad Edmund, we have son Victor, and son Edmund. So we're going to start with Dad Edmund first, and he is not going. Okay, then the boys. Victor first. Victor's going. And then his brother Edmund not going. So Victor is the only one in his family who is going. Then we go over to the Odell house. Barry is too old, but we have Alan and little Barry, young Barry, I guess, who can go. So first is Alan Odell. Oh, he's going. And then his son, Barry, who is not going. Good, because I think Barry's getting married. Oh my goodness, this is getting a little bit stressful. Over here, we have Steve Drake, who is not going to war. That's wonderful. And then we move down here to the Goodwin house, and we have Lucius Goodwin and Jason Cross. Jason Cross is a friend of the family. He's not even in our family yet, but Lucius Goodwin is going to war, and Jason Cross is not going to war. Then in this house, we actually have two families. This one is Beau Field. He's the only one who is old enough in his family to go, and he is not going. Then his father-in-law, who lives beside them, is Lancaster Smith, and he is old enough, so he's not going either. Then we move down here. Wait, did I miss somebody at the Smith house? Hold on. It says we have Alan Smith as well. Oh, we do. His son, Alan. Oh, gosh, I missed him. Not going to war. Okay. Then we have Adam. This is not Adam. This is actually Adam's son, Pugsley. So Pugsley Hammond is going to war. Oh, my gosh. This is going to affect marriages for 5 years. Just ridiculous. Down here at Pista Smith's house, we have Francis, who is the only one old enough to go to war, and he's not going to war. Then we jump across here, Andrew McCarthy. We have Andrew and son Andrew, who are both old enough to go. So first we roll for Dad, who is going to war, and then son Andrew is also going to war. No! These children have got to find somewhere to go then. Oh my gosh. Next, we go to the Elmore house, where we have Steve, who is right here, and Barton, who is also old enough. So first, we're going to roll for Steve, not going to war, and then Barton Elmore, not going to war. And then at this house over here, Lucan Betts is the only one old enough in his house, and he is not going to war. So let's do a status update really quickly. We have done 48 so far. I want you guys to guess down below. I'm going to give you just a second. How many out of 48 do you think we've done? Now, if you've been counting, you're going to get this correct. But if not, I'm giving you some time to make some guesses about out of the 48 that we have done so far, how many have we picked? The answer is 16. I'm a little concerned now about my guess of 22 people going to war because I only have 6 more spaces and we still have a lot more names. And we are still here in this world, and we are moving to the Hammond house where we have Bartholomew Hammond, the only one old enough here in his house to go, and he is going. Oh my gosh, only have 5 more spots. Nope, not Geoffrey Chaucer. We're jumping up here to Henry Elmore, and I do not see Geoffrey Chaucer, which means I forgot to put him on my list, but we definitely need to roll for him. So here we go, Geoffrey Chaucer, not going to war. Also, he's going to throw off our numbers now because now we have 84 people, but whatever, that's fine. All right, so up here, Henry Elmore is the only person in his house who is old enough, and he is not going to war. Then we move to the Whitlocks, and both of them, Reese and Travis, are both old enough. Reese first is going, and Travis is not going. Then we move to the Lugano house right here, and Antonio is the only person in his house who can go, and he is going. Oh my gosh, my 22 is going to be really, really wrong. Okay, in the Lambert household, in the Darkwoods, we have 2 Lamberts, father and son. First, Father Lambert, not going, and then his son Lambert also not going. I love to see that. Then we move to the Beauregard house, and we only have Dad Gerard, who we are rolling for today. He is not going to war. Then we move right on to the Dweller house, where we have 2 Brayans. So we have Dad Brayan and we have Son Brayan. Son Brayan is wearing a full-on, I don't know what kind of outfit. Dad first, not going to war. Son, not going to war. Hey, the dice heard me saying that I really didn't want anybody else to go. Now here we go. Over at the Burgess house, we have a lot of people in this house, but Dorian is the only one eligible to go to war, and he is not going. He said, I want to stay here with all of these children. Then finally, we are done with Windenburg. At the Magnolia Promenade, which is just another part of England, we have Archer Wardmark. He is over here. Here he is. Archer Wardmark just got married, trying to start a family and not going to war. Then we have poor Grayson Hayward, who lost his wife and baby and not going to war, and is planning on remarrying soon, so that will be nice. Then we move here to Newrest, where we have managed to fill this place up, and we're going to start right here with Winston Price, who is a single parent, and his son, Winston, who is also old enough to go. So first, Dad Winston is going to war. And then his son, Winston, was not on my list. Why not? Because his son is not going to war. Okay, we've thrown it off again, y'all. Somebody else I forgot to put on the list who is not going to war. That's okay. Upton Klein is next. And he is the only person in his household who is not. He's old enough, but not going to war. Then right next to him is his brother Marcus, whose son Marcus is old enough to go to war. So first, Dad Marcus, not going. Son Marcus, going. Okay, well, let's look at the numbers one last time before we finish. We have done 66 people so far, and we are at 21 out of 66. So I can only have one more person in the last 15 names that we have. I can only have one more to be exactly right. I don't think that's going to work. We are at Alexander Blackburn, raising his children by himself. Is he going to war? Yes. Alexander has to be the last one or I've lost. We're here at the Whalen house and we have Ivan, who is newly married, first baby here, not going to war. Then we move around to the Morgans and we have Grayson Morgan is the only one, except his son-in-law Odin Cornwell also lives here. So first we do Grayson Morgan going to war and his son-in-law also going to war. No, this is ridiculous. Oh, and I forgot his stepson, son Scarlock. Also, I have to roll for him not going to war. He's like, y'all can go to war. I'm not going to war. Then we go to the Wood Clan house where we have Reed and his son Reed. As y'all can tell, we have a lot of people named the same thing. First, Dad Reed, not going to war. Then his son Reed, not going to war. Then we move to the Goodwin house is the next one, and we have Urian being the only person in his house who is old enough, maybe not. I see Tatton there as well. That's right. Not going to war. And then we roll for his son Tatton, also not going to war. It's because I had Tatton written on a different page. Okay, we're almost finished. Seth Von Metz is up next, and he is going to war. Y'all just wanted to bust the numbers that I picked, didn't you? Next is Lancaster Smith, and let's see what he is going to do. Not going to war. Okay, great. Then we have Orvis Goodwin. The only person in his house who is eligible for war is not going. We move to the Archer house where we have Eve Archer and his son Ralph. So first we're going to roll for Dad Eve not going and his son Ralph going to war. No, what if Ralph is supposed to get married? And then finally we are down to the last two. Keenan Price is the only person in his house who can go, and he's not. And then finally, Francis Carroll, living here by himself, waiting to get married. Please, please don't go to war. Yes, he is not going to war. Now, we're going to roll for Sebastian and Godfrey back in our main house, and then we'll look at the totals. But I want y'all to let me know right now what y'all think is going to happen. Sebastian, go to war, not go to war. And then Godfrey, is he going to go to war or not go to war? I would like to know your guesses right now. Okay, let's get the dice back up here. I'm giving y'all plenty of time to say what you want to say about Sebastian, and then I'll give you a little bit of time to do Godfrey. So here we go. Sebastian Miller, yes or no, going to war? No. Sebastian said, no, I just got back here with my family. I'm not going to war. Godfrey is up next. Godfrey rolled to get married very soon, definitely within the 5 years. So if he goes away to war, we're going to have to postpone his wedding. We're going to have so many weddings the year that the war is over and everybody comes home. So I hope you got your guesses in for Godfrey. Let's see if Godfrey goes to war or not. No, yay! They both are not going to war. So I'm going to tally everything up and give you a chance to see if you thought you were right or not about all of your guesses and what you came up with at the end, see if it matches mine. So I had to add 2 people. So instead of 83, we actually ended up with 85. And out of those 85, are you ready to hear the total of number of people going to war? 26 out of 85. Wow. I just don't even know what to say about it. That is a lot. And we're going to have to be busy in our live streams, getting all these people moved in and out of their houses and figuring out what's going to happen with marriages during this time and getting all of that stuff moved around for the next 5 years. But I have everyone written down and we can do that all together at the next live stream. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me and getting ready for our last round of the 100 Years' War. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.